We all enjoy our time when we are off and we can get away someplace and relax, and it's good. It's a good thing to do. And I think, for me, I think that one of the favorite times that I have getting away is when I have the opportunity to go on retreat. And if you haven't done a retreat, you should try it. For me and for religious, it's really an essential part of our job description. But I think it's a good exercise for everybody to try to do a retreat. But I want to make a distinction between what a retreat is and what a vacation is. So when I go around on a retreat, so yeah, it is getting away, but I'm not sitting by the pool of a five-star hotel or enjoying a lot of fine meals or things like that. So when you say retreat, so what do you think of? The retreat is providing an opportunity with a religious and spiritual focus that provides the participant with an opportunity to draw much closer to God. That's true. Now, the reason I do this, now what do I like about retreats? I like a retreat, whether it's a one-day retreat, 2-day, it could be a 7-day retreat, it could be a 30-day retreat. I like a retreat because of how different the experiences are from my normal life. I like the fact that the room that I'm in is small. It's very modest, and the bed may or may not be comfortable. The fact that when I go to eat, they're not going to give me a menu, they're going to give me what they have, and it's usually pretty plain, and there's not always a lot of it. I like the fact that the building and the area is relatively quiet. The noise is less, there's not music playing or phones ringing. I like the pace of a retreat. It generally allows slowing down of the hours and days and stepping out from the busyness and craziness of daily life. Okay, now I've told you that I like these things. Now, that doesn't mean that immersing myself into a retreat with all these things is easy for me. Because, in fact, the opposite is true. Because I want a comfortable bed. I like to be able to pick my food out and to eat good food. I like to be able to turn the TV on at night. I like to listen to music. I like to experience some of these external stimulations of the world in which we live. Yet it's this very sort of discomfort. It is this period of adjusting to a new way of living that I like about going on a retreat. And the reason for that is simple. Because it really shows me in a very concrete way just how attached I am to my usual life, my familiar life. I'm attached to so many things of this world, so many comforts, so many distractions, so many ways of entertaining myself. So today's gospel passage from Luke is a difficult one. It's difficult to understand, but it's also difficult in what it seems to be saying. It's commonly referred to as the Sermon on the Plain. Matthew's Gospel has something similar, which we call the Sermon on the Mount, but Luke shows Jesus painting a picture of blessedness, which is much different than what his listeners probably imagine. So, blessed are the poor, and blessed are you when you're hungry, and blessed are you when you're weeping, and blessed are you when people hate you, when they exclude you, when they denounce your name as evil. I would think the opposite should be the way it goes. And if that wasn't enough to get their attention, Jesus continues by describing the flip side of each of these previous statements. And he precedes each one with that ominous word, woe. So woe to you who are rich. Woe to you who are filled now. Woe to you who laugh now. Woe to you when all speak well of you. Again, I would have thought the opposite should be true. So what exactly is going on here? There's a tension that exists in every human life, especially when a person is trying to strive to be, to live a good life and a meaningful life. And this tension exists between the person each of us is and the person each of us wants to be, or feels that we need to be, or feels that we should be. So we all hear this inner voice calling us, challenging us to be a little bit more, but what do? We resist it, or we ignore it, or we fail to embrace it to the degree that we should. And so often we work toward meeting our needs before we'll try to meet the needs of others, or we make our lives as comfortable as we can. And we know that some other people have almost nothing. We will often take the easiest path, or the safest one, or the one that demands little from us. So in a very real sense, many of us do all we can to make sure that we aren't hungry or poor or weeping or disliked. And part of us knows that there's more to life than that. In the deepest recesses of our hearts and souls, we know that there's more, a better way, a more faithful way, a way that'll help us, and if you like Matthew Kelly, a way that'll help us be the best version of ourselves. But that person oftentimes seems to be that person who hasn't shown up yet, right? Almost an imaginary kind of person. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do tomorrow. Or that's what I'll be like the next day. Or maybe next week. Or wait, when I'm finished with school, I'm going to be like that. Or when I get that job, I'm going to be, when I get married and when I have kids, I'll do that way. Maybe when I retire, that's when I'll be that way then too. Most of us really don't want to be that person today. So in many ways, this is a direct consequence of the fall. Because of the fall, in a sense, we are all wounded. We don't see things quite as clearly, and we often get our priorities mixed up. We choose one good over something that is a higher good. And even when we know what we should do, we know what we should choose, we are even confident of it, we simply lack the will to follow through. We simply lack the strength to embrace it, or we lack the courage to live our lives not simply for ourselves, but for God, and by extension to live our lives for one another. And so Jesus says these words to you and me this day as kind of a wake-up call, and he knows that if we truly love as he asks us to love, give to the degree that he asks us to give, show compassion, mercy, and understanding in ways that he invites us to, our lives will look different. Our lives will be different because we will be different on the inside. We will be the people that God created us to be and died for us to be. And if all of this makes you feel uncomfortable, it should. I know it makes me feel uncomfortable, sometimes really disappointed in myself in many ways. But being comfortable or feeling safe really doesn't have a place in the life of a Christian, because God wants more from us. And we only have to look at the cross to see evidence of that. So may each of us truly be blessed as we go down that list. But may we be blessed by choosing to be a blessing to the world around us.